Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead's Downtime Tuesday. My name's Panzer, and today I'm going to be talking about the happenings of the past week in the world of Warcraft. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you do, remember to rate it thumbs up. Just to get a couple of things out of the way real quick, I am in between hair colors. My hair is not going to be flesh toned for much longer, I promise. And also, today's video is going to be in a little bit different format. I normally strictly script these videos. I mean, I write the scripts myself, but I generally like to know what I'm going to say because that's the kind of person I am. But I didn't get very much sleep last night, and then like an idiot, I worked out, which I am not fit at all. Working out is not the norm for me, but for some reason I was like, I should work out, and so I am dead. I am just so dead. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a terrible idea, so I'm just trying to power through the rest of my day, so I hope that you guys understand. First up today, the Darkmoon Fair is back in town from July 5th to July 9th, and of course, patch 6.2 added all sorts of new stuff like Blorp and the Ghost Shell Crab and the Hogs pet. Of course, Hogs comes from the achievement Whack-a-Knoll, and then there's also the Darkmoon Fancy Feast, which will don players who are well fed in some very classy attire. For more information on the Darkmoon Fair, check out the links in the info below. Wowhead recently updated and revamped their class guides, and to celebrate the relaunch, they are giving away a Spectral Tiger trading card game mount. If you would like to enter, it's super easy. I've linked it for you in the info below as always, but you just go to that link, leave a comment on that article with what your main spec is for this expansion, and voila, you are entered. Full details are right in that post for your convenience. One of the coolest things added in patch 6.2 was the ability to earn a black market auction house vendor right in your garrison. You do this by completing a rare shipyard mission. Now, also in 6.2, they added the Core Hound mount to the repertoire of mounts that could show up in the black market auction house. And what was kind of cool is that this week Blizzard did a poll asking players what items they would like to see more of in the auction house, whether it is pets or mounts or old gear, stuff like that. So if you're interested and you want to either look up how to get the black market auction house vendor in your garrison, or you want to take that poll and participate, links in the info below, because where else would links be? After the Jurassic World mishap, I understand if you don't believe me anymore when I give you Warcraft movie news, but the thing is, I just report what I hear, okay? And I heard that there was going to be a Warcraft movie trailer before Jurassic World. That turned out to be not true, but this week, Entertainment Weekly reported that there was going to be a big unveiling thing at San Diego Comic-Con regarding the Warcraft movie. It's pretty likely that it's going to be the Warcraft movie trailer, plus the director's going to be there, all the actors are going to be there, they're going to be signing things. So the moral of the story is if you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, get me signed things because I love you, please. Just kidding, but not. Kind of on the same note, this isn't something that Wowhead reported on, but if you collect Funko Pop Vinyl figurines, Barnes & Noble is going to have some of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figures at Barnes & Noble on July 9th. I called them this morning and they would not tell me which of the figures that they would have, but they're going to have some of them. So if you had your eye on any of them, not just the Warcraft ones, but any of the ones that could potentially be at San Diego Comic-Con, Barnes & Noble may have them. So just worth talking about. And last up today is something I kind of didn't want to talk about, but I have to talk about it. I just don't like to talk about things that invoke negativity in people, but I have to. I have to be the bigger person and talk about it. So here we go. There was an interview with Mamie Twink, and Mumper outright said that 6.2 was the last content patch of the expansion. And people are of course super upset about it. There's a lot of divides. Some people are thank goodness this expansion's over, good riddance. Some people think they've just been completely ripped off. And I would like to share my feelings on this. Now, disclaimer, my feelings do not reflect the feelings of Wowhead as a whole. It's just me personally, no one else. I think that this could go two ways. I think they're either M. Night Shyamalaning us, and this is a big plot twist for another raid or something, because it seems kind of odd that we would, go through the Dark Portal, go kill a bunch of ogres, go to Blackrock Foundry, blow up the Dark Portal and never kill Gul'dan, never kill Grommash. That seems kind of odd to me, but they also kind of said like, oh, well, that's going to be next expansion kind of thing. I don't really know. I'm not sure that I buy that it's the final patch, especially since in an interview with, I believe it was Polygon, they said the exact opposite thing. They said, no, there's still so much story to tell. We still have so much left. This is definitely not it. So I think that's kind of conflicting. I don't know how I feel about that. Now, on the other side, if it is the end, I'm on the negative side of this because there's a lot of reasons. Number one, that would mean that this raid is probably going to be about a year long. It would line up pretty well because that's like the Warcraft movie is coming out in June of next year. They would be able to release the expansion around the same time. It would be good cross promotion. I get it from that sense. But repeatedly, we've heard developers say that Siege of Orgrimmar was too long, and this would make Hellfire Citadel the same length as Siege of Orgrimmar, which is sort of strange. A year is also a really long time without a content patch. It really, really is. And I'm not sure that even though Archimonde's a bad dude and like it's gonna feel good to kill him, they're expecting people who have the legendary ring to kill him like 20 times. Like, how badass can he be if they expect you to kill him 20 times? So I just feel like it's an odd announcement to make. I feel like it's an odd choice to make. And furthermore, I feel like these types of announcements should be in blue posts. I don't think that big hunks of information like no flying in Draenor and no more content after 6.2, I don't think these are things that should be said in like various interviews. I think those should be things that are coming directly from Blizzard to the player base, whether it be, you know, a Warcraft Facebook post, a Warcraft tweet, a blue post, something. I feel like it should not, I don't know, I feel like we shouldn't have to scavenger hunt for information like that as players of the game. I feel like interviews should be more about clarification of the big announcements, not the big announcements. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and I also feel like communication should be a little more united. I think it's odd that one developer is saying one thing and then 2 weeks later, a different developer is saying a completely different thing. Like, I don't know if maybe it's one of those things where a decision hasn't been made. Like when they outwardly said like no flying in Draenor, no flying in new content, they admittedly said there was still a lot of debate about that behind the scenes. And if there is still debate, I don't feel like they should be making announcements. It's just, oh, it's so hard because they say things like, oh, you know, we're really listening to the community. And there are instances where it's very obvious that they're listening to the community. I think Tanan is a really good execution of, like, people really enjoyed the Timeless Isle when it first came out, and then, you know, the novelty of it wore off, and they were just killing gulp frogs over and over again, and people were just going there to do the world bosses and leaving, and there wasn't much of a replayability factor to it. There wasn't a lot of story to it. There wasn't any story to it, really. So I feel like all of the feedback that they got from Timeless Isle, they applied to Tanan in a really good way. And I feel like, you know, the decision to change flying in Draenor was a decision that was definitely impacted by the feedback they got from the community. But then, like, for players who PvP, there hasn't been a recent Halinka interview, and there hasn't been, outside of Ashran, which is a very PvE-oriented BG, there hasn't been a new BG. They've gated all the good PvP gear behind Ashran, which is, I mean, from what I've heard, I'm not a PvPer, but it's not everybody's favorite. I'm not sure if it's anybody's favorite. So I'm feeling really mixed, and I feel like a lot of the reason for my mixed feelings are because I'm getting mixed messages, and I feel like if we were getting a more united, like, front of information from Blizzard, that people wouldn't feel this way. But I would love to know what you think. If this is the last expansion, or I guess, what do you think about the announcement in general? Do you actually think it's the last content patch of the expansion? Do you think they're trying to, like, you know, pull a fast one on us and be like, JK, you thought? Or do you think it really is the last patch of the expansion? Are you happy that this expansion is going to be over soon? Are you, you know, are you upset? Do you feel like it shouldn't have been the same price? Like, what are your feelings? I would love to know. Try to keep it civil. Please don't swear at each other. I will be removing comments of people who are just being, like, crazy. You're welcome to voice your opinion. It's fine if your opinion's negative, but please don't be mean to each other. While you're thinking about that, check out our answers to last week's question. And that's it for this week's Wowhead's Downtime Tuesday. My name is Panzer and my YouTube channel is TradeChat. If you enjoyed this video, please thumb it up and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and answer a question in the comments section below. Be sure to check back next Tuesday and every Tuesday because Tuesday, and to see if your comment is in our featured section. As always, everything I talked about today is linked in the information below. I do feel like it's worth noting one more time that any opinions expressed in this video are my own. And don't worry, my hair will be a normal color soon. We do Meme Perk, we do Wowhead weekly every Friday at twitch.tv/Wowhead, where we do like long conversations about what's going on in World of Warcraft. We give you all the updates, we talk a little bit about it. It's a good old jolly time. So if you'd like to join us there, you want to watch last week's VOD, I'll have that linked in the info below as well. I think that's all the things. I'm gonna go. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you all. You're in my hearts. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. 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 All I can think of is somebody in Warsong Gulch picking up the flag, jumping off the cliff with the throbbing blood orb, and then Skull the Mad Kinging all the way to their base, just like, and nobody can catch them, unless they also Skull of the Mad King.